One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. To let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides onto his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hears battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and pace his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Well. Good morning to the Breakfast Club, my man. Everybody. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us, man. Hopefully you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving out there to the Breakfast Club, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, especially on the day after. You know, listen, I got pretty drunk last night too. You know, and I hammered a couple plates of food, man. You guys saw that I got down. We deep fried a turkey. We smoked a turkey. We had 2 different birds. Yeah, man, it was a good time with family and friends, and man, that's what it's all about right there. But enough of that. We got some serious business going on today. We actually have a couple of things going on. So we're first going to be reviewing into this ordeal. Hamas attacks an Israeli bus in Gaza's West Bank, and that there 8 people were injured on that. And then I just right before I went live saw that Russia actually struck Ukraine yesterday. I didn't even know that. I kept myself off the internet, except for the morning part yesterday. Yeah, I didn't really want to be involved in the media when I got a whole bunch of family over and stuff like that. That's not necessarily the nicest thing to do, is being stuck on your phone or a device or computer or whatever. But anyways, enough about that. Make sure you guys hit the like button. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps out the show immensely, and it's also free to do so. You know what else is free? Is hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already, or that notification bell, or both. Or. We'll do with the and/or. Also, please consider becoming a member of the show, man. It's starting at $2.99 a month. We make sure that it's affordable for pretty much everybody, and it helps out over here on the Insane Wheels Network. But I also give back every single Saturday, which is, listen, tomorrow we got members only. That's members only every single Saturday, 10 a.m. So we always have a good ass time over there. Just ask the Breakfast Club themselves. They will tell you. Also, make sure to follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my lifestyle, but of the show, Millennial Food Time. We got all good shit over there, man. Make sure you DM me over there. That's where I do all my talks with everybody. Most people use like Discord and stuff like that, which I do have a Discord, by the way. Link is in the description. But as a primary, like, one-on-one ordeal, I do that off of Instagram. Just is what it is over here. All right. And last but not least, man, if you guys would like to help out the show monetarily, of course, we're going to be shouting out super chats, super stickers, channel memberships, gifted memberships, all that stuff. Those are all, shouted out. But we also will have these scrolling down below. So just in case, if you guys would like to help out and not have YouTube take that brutal 30% cut, these are down for the remainder of the show, man. All right. So let's go ahead and get into hanging out with you guys for a minute before we get into this morning's ordeal, because it is an ordeal. We have a lot to go over. Brother Steve up in the building. Good to see you, as well as Papa. We got Carney's right up in here. Barbie, good to see you. Wait, your dog ate a mini Rubik's Cube? Oh man, that must have been like a shit show last night or this morning, I guess, for you. I'm sorry about that. That totally sucks. Let's see. Had Thanksgiving dinner with wife's extended family. Uh, Fucking Colombians made fried fish and no turkey. What the fuck?
Oh shit! Oh
No way. They're like, nah, man, we're not taking up your guys' traditions over there. It's so funny. What's up, Tiffany? And yes, it's good that he's still sleeping. You know, he probably got a little hammered last night, you know. Hey, I did. I got hammered last night. It is what it is. I should be sleeping, Steve says. I should be sleeping too. I feel that. Yeah. What up, Kurt? Good to see you, man. Hopefully you're doing well. We got Hank up in here, and we have a pretty good conversation going on in the chat right now because Canada / like Australia, Canada is really enjoying the idea, let's just say, but Australia is actually considering banning social media for people that are 16 and younger. And that's a huge topic right now in the chat. So love watching it. And I'll keep my personal opinions on that off of it right now. And then I'll even do my own show if I'd like, to discuss that exact thing. I'll do a specific only to that topic. Yeah, Lucy's always playing around, man. She's always just flying around. Yeah, Mike's kitty is going off in the back. Yeah, she just does her little thing, and I let her. As long as she's not ruining my furniture and stuff like that, which she doesn't. She does not do that. Redneck side up in here saying, become a member, y'all. If you're not, you're missing out. My man, thank you for being here and hanging out with us. Are we not, man? Good to see you as well, kind sir. Hopefully you're doing well. We're doing good. And yes, Lucy's always photobombing me, but that's all right. That's all right. Hey, listen. If I were to be photobombed by anybody, I'm glad it was by the cat, Lucy's cool. I like being photobombed by her. What up, Hardwire, as well as Road Rage? Good to see you guys this morning, man. I smoked myself straight. That's so funny, dude. Yeah, I think a lot of us got down with our bad selves like that. We got Tigger. What's up, my man? Howdy from Florida. Is that what that is, Florida? Yeah. What's up, my man? Hopefully you're doing good. I'd like to see the last part of but the YouTube is blocking the bottom rocker there. I wanted to see what that says. But much love, honor, respect to you. We got Anson Knowles. If the government starts requiring age verification, then the idea that you have to register with the government to do social media will be normalized. Hey, that's some deep critical thinking right there. That's good that you actually think like that. And that's exactly what we're against is people are always asking for more and more government, right? Even when they think that they are not, even doing that down to social media, you are involved in the government. Absolutely. Got you. Much love, honor, respect, my man. Bill Hicks, good to see you, my man. Good to see you. All right, let's go ahead and get into this morning. Let's go ahead and do this. So this is from 2 hours ago, okay? So everything that you guys are going to see today is real recent. When we get into Russia, by the way, when we move over into Russia and Ukraine, because there was some missiles that were thrown around. So when we get to that, it's going to be only about maybe 30 minutes behind from when it got reported. But it got, that whole thing ordeal happened yesterday, and I didn't even see it. I don't even know if the media was reporting it because I'm seeing it happening like only 10, 15 minutes ago. So anyways, little side note there. All right, let's go and get into this. This is off of Live Now from Fox.
And getting back to this breaking news we are following on this Black Friday, it does take us out to the Israeli occupied West Bank as we're following the very latest. This information coming from the Associated Press, learning a shooter has opened fire at an Israeli bus in that area of the Israeli occupied West Bank. The AP reporting at least 3 people are critically injured. They also go on to say this is the latest violence to strike the territory.
I actually really didn't know it like that, Dwayne. I'm going to be honest. I really didn't know that.
Tensions there soar 14 months into the Israel-Hamas conflict. You can see the videographer panning around as local Jewish...
Yes, it's starting to get really cold in the South. I mean, I'm sure that it's getting cold everywhere else. I mean, if it's getting cold in the South, it's getting cold everywhere else too.
News are there working to find out information to then share with the Associated Press. We don't know if more people are injured or if there have even been any
What's up,
deaths.
Brother Pitbull? Good to see you over there, man. Hopefully you're having a good one so far. well, for you're over there in England, my man.
And
Like 7 hours
casualties
ahead of me.
from this attack. Also learning to find out if this was a terroristic act. We just don't know if this was an isolated situation. So many unanswered questions. But of course, as we get more information, you'll get the latest details right here on Live Now from Fox. The Israeli.
What's up, Joseph? Come on, man. Stop the cat. Stop the cat.
Stop the cap.
Yeah. What's up, my man? Good to see
Government
you.
out in Tel Aviv, Israel, working to keep us updated in real time about the very latest of the conflict with Israel and Hamas. Also, the very latest with the conflict with Israel and Hezbollah. I want to play out the latest presser from Israeli spokesperson David Mensa from Tel Aviv, Israel.
Right now, it's 16:10, which is 4:10 p.m., by the way. For people that don't know the 24-hour clock, or us in America, we call it military time. But yeah, 16:10 for you. Right now, it is 10:11 in the morning, so 10:10. Yeah.
So the ceasefire agreement in Lebanon came into effect yesterday morning. Allow me to share with you some additional details released from last night.
What's up, Shadow?
From
Good
Israel's
morning, my man.
perspective, we have made clear our desire for this cessation of hostilities to prevail. But at the same time, the IDF is operating determinedly to any violation of the ceasefire. Fire will be met by fire. Peace will be met by peace. IDF soldiers are still positioned in southern Lebanon, in villages and areas from which the forces will gradually withdraw in accordance with the agreement. Our Air Force are still in Lebanese airspace, gathering intelligence and prepared to act whenever and wherever necessary. Our armed service.
What's up, Pablo? What's up, my man? Hey, by the way, what I've noticed, just for something interesting, some of you guys are getting through doing it, but I always put exclamation points when I'm speaking in chats and stuff like that. And I noticed that exclamation points, anytime I put an exclamation point, it blocks my damn comment. I don't know how you got through, but hey, man, just a little, I mean, even emojis will get it, but exclamation points get it every time. I don't know why.
Are enforcing the ceasefire agreement.
Some I've noticed.
That is the difference between now and 2006. The word is enforcement. When identified suspects approach our forces, IDF have fired warning shots in restricted areas as well as detained suspects. To make this point, Hezbollah's suspect operatives were.
I'm going to do a little test. I'm going to do like, what's up, Carney? For instance, let's just see what happens if I do that and type it in, if it'll go through.
Apprehended in the village of Tir Harfa and are being interrogated. IDF have shared their guidance for Lebanese residents to stay safe, particularly at night and in the areas where our forces are positioned. The ceasefire agreement is structured to be gradual, and the army will update residents in Lebanon when it is safe to return to specific areas.
See, it's like as if like they lift that shit and then all of a sudden you get beamed. Then all of a sudden you can't. It's weird. I can't explain it.
Now, looking at international media coverage of this ceasefire deal, much of it admits that the murderous terrorist organization Hezbollah dragged Lebanon to the place it finds itself in today. We've been asked from this office for Israel's achievements, which have facilitated this ceasefire agreement. And here they are, heavily degrading Hezbollah's launch capabilities and its strategic assets, its leadership, eliminated its ability to rearm and resupply, severely disrupted.
Mr.
Hezbollah's plan to infiltrate Israel, a plan that was meticulously planned, awaiting its activation by Iran, has been foiled. Hezbollah was Iran's strategic asset right on our border. Billions in Iran's assets were invested in Hezbollah. The tyrants of Tehran have lost that strategic asset. Thousands of rockets destroyed, naval missile weapons, manufacturing destroyed, aerial units for launching UAVs destroyed. From Israel's perspective, we will adhere to the agreement, but we will also enforce it, enforcement being the operative word. And lastly, on COGAT and aid going into Gaza, I can share with you our latest figures as of today, just now before we came on air. 12 bakeries are operational in Gaza, 8 in central and southern Gaza, and 4 in northern Gaza. Yesterday, 158 humanitarian aid trucks entered Gaza. 63 trucks were collected from the Gaza side of Kerem Shalom by international aid organizations. But still, our latest figures from today are that 750 trucks worth of aid are awaiting collection on the Gazan side of Kerem Shalom. 750 trucks of aid just awaiting collection. COGAT have made clear that if aid organizations send in lorries, we will facilitate their entry so that this aid can be distributed. 6 tankers of cooking gas also went in. A convoy of 38 trucks.
What's up, Miss Lotus? Good morning. Good morning to you. Hopefully you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, by the way.
Entered Gaza directly through Gate 96. And patients and caregivers exited Gaza through the Kerem Shalom crossing for treatment in Jordan and the US. Just a reminder, an update. In recent months, 862 patients and their companions have gone through.
See, Hardwire's feeling the censorship right now. He can't even say, hey, homie, I'm going to like cruise on over. Yeah, he can't even say that shit.
Through Kerem Shalom, through the crossing there, onto Jordan, Romania, the USA, UAE, and other countries. And I want to take this opportunity on behalf of Israel to thank the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan and the USA for spearheading this vital humanitarian operation. That's the end of our briefing today.
Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. Come on. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps us out over here, and it's free.
Please in the chat together with your outlet, and we will get to them. I see a message here that I am muted. Is that still the case?
No.
No. Okay, that seems to be not the case. Good. So first question I can
Someone didn't have their fucking volume up on their phone or something.
see here is from Joel Pollack at Breitbart News from yesterday. My friends, if you are having problems hearing me, just please let us know in the chat. But our understanding is that the audio is okay. Let me get that question. Okay, Joel Pollack asks a question, and the question is this: given the burden on Israeli reservists in fighting this war, with many doing several lengthy tours of duty, would Israel consider expanding volunteer options within the IDF to allow volunteers from abroad to perform non-combat roles and relieve reservists for holiday with the family? Thank you for that question, Joel. When it comes to reservists, I can share with you that, yes, of course, the reservists have acted in an exemplary fashion. They've acted in a heroic fashion, at immense sacrifice as well. And also there have been immense achievements which they have made. They are literally putting their lives on hold, leaving their families, wives, sometimes husbands and children, and sometimes losing jobs as well. Some of them are losing friends. We've lost 806 of our armed forces from this war. You know, Israel is a people's army, but we also...
Yeah, there's no way you're going to speak for their government and not be a well-spoken person, especially in Israel.
Also know that their determination and their readiness and their fighting spirit, the spirit of sacrifice and heroism, deserves our support. The Prime Minister's made this clear. They support us so much, with so much sacrifice on behalf of the country, that the Prime Minister has made clear that he wishes to pay them back. I can tell you now that the government is preparing a national plan to support the reservists and especially their families. Their sacrifice and heroism, and that of the regular army as well, who are the foundation to ensuring our future and our country. And to your second point about volunteers from abroad. There are in Israel's history a long, many stories of volunteers coming to support Israel in its time of need. There is a long tradition of that. They are legends, some of these stories. And even today, they are legends still, people that have answered the call and come to volunteer here in Israel. There are many existing of these programs, but I will certainly pass your comments on to the IDF and also the government as well, so they can be shared and looked into.
Good answer.
Second question from Joel Pollack at Breitbart News. Today is Thanksgiving in the US, the second Thanksgiving in a row, which there is a truce or ceasefire in Israel in some fashion. Does Israel have a Thanksgiving message to offer? Thank you for that opportunity, Joel. Let me wish all of our American watchers, and also let me wish the people of the United States of America and the government of the United States of America a happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, W.
I know it is a tradition in the US to say what we are thankful for. And while I am not a US citizen, let me say on behalf of the state of Israel what we are thankful for. We are very grateful for the ironclad commitment and
I knew that's what he was going to say.
Friendship and union with the United States of America. They have stood by our side in difficult times and in good times, none more so than in the last 419 days. Our prime minister has made this clear. Our president has made this.
That's awesome, Bob. Hell yeah. Sorry last night that I was not able to attend. Last night I was totally off the net, eating some crazy ass food and getting drunk. You know what I mean? So, hey, sorry that I was not able to make it. But guess what? I'll go back and watch that shit. You know that.
It's clear. No one here in Israel will ever forget how Joe Biden got on a plane a few days after the massacre and shared his feelings and views of the appalling atrocities which our people experienced on that day, and for the way which they have stood by us till today in these negotiations right now to create this ceasefire. We are grateful for what they have contributed, and we look forward as well to the next administration and President-elect Trump, who also has his own very long.
Yeah, and that's just the money, you know, not including the money that we have essentially it is money, but it's resources, you know, man, it's a lot of dough.
On record of some phenomenal partnership with this country. None of us here in Israel will ever forget the fact that he moved the embassy of the United States from Tel Aviv to its rightful place in our eternal capital of Jerusalem. And none of us as well will forget the Abraham Accords, and we look forward. We will always value the
Steve.
bipartisan relationship between our two countries. But the Abraham Accords were very much a President Trump initiative, and we look forward to that being taken forward. And we look forward.
And it absolutely was taken by force there, Anson. 100% it did. We didn't have, we didn't have a say in that whole ordeal. We still don't have a say. We don't have a say where this money goes to the rest of the world. I wish we had a fucking say. Because, I mean, trust me, I'd be like, defund everything. America first. Fuck everyone. Figure it out. You guys figure it out. You guys got conflicts. Figure it out. You know? What's up, brother Straight Jacket? Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're doing well this morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, let's go ahead and move on over into Russia. We're going to go ahead and discuss what happened yesterday. There was an attack on Ukraine from Russia last night, or yesterday, rather. It did happen somewhat like evening time last night for us. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. But real quick, Much love, honor, and respect to Briar up in the building. Appreciate you for coming up and hanging out with us. You know, you guys could be anywhere in the world, but you guys are here with me, man. Nothing more. Listen, I'm extremely in honor that you guys even care about either these subjects or the support of me, man, is humongous. It's humongous, man. So I really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and move on over. We're going to go ahead and discuss this. What is going on over there in Ukraine?
Russia conducted a massive attack against Ukraine's energy infrastructure Thursday, firing nearly 200 missiles and drones, leaving more than
200 missiles and fucking drones?
1 million homes without power. Russia's second major aerial attack.
Damn, 1 million homes without power.
Attack on Ukraine's power grid in less than 2 weeks.
Wow.
A lot to discuss, so I do want to bring in an expert here. We have Katrina Murdoch, the vice president.
Allegedly, good morning to you. She's saying, morning, sorry I'm late. Happy day after holiday. Absolutely. Hoping everyone had enough food for the holiday cheer. Hey, listen, and holiday cheer. I'm sorry, misread that. Yes, I got down with my bad self. We had 2 different turkeys, like I told you we would. We had a deep fried and a smoked one. And then, of course, the spread was insane. And then I drank a lot of drinks last night. Well, we got hammered over here.
Of global rights compliance to discuss this just
Hopefully
a little bit
you got a good one
further.
too, allegedly.
Thank you so much, Katrina, for taking the time to be here with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, first off, I do want to talk overall about the attack itself by Russia on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Can you explain?
Exactly. And you know what's funny, Briar? You know, a lot of my breaking news does, in fact, get tied to Fox. But if you guys notice, you have Fox News and then you have Live Now from Fox. 2 totally different things, 2 totally separate reporting. And what I like about it is, for the majority, aside from when they bring on special people like this to discuss the situation, you'll notice that 95% of the time there is no how they feel emotionally, what they think. What I like about these people over here is they report just what's fucking happening, and I really respect that. And hence why I'm showing you guys and going through the cycle with you guys on this shit. And why I use them so much, because they are on top of their shit when it comes to breaking.
Explain to me the significance of this attack.
Well, I think that the significant.
See, look, this came out 49 minutes ago, everybody. 49 minutes ago. Hold on, you guys can't see it. Boom. 49 minutes ago, and there's only 7,000 views on it. See what I'm saying?
Is across a number of levels. I think, as you indicated, this represents a massive, singular and very complex attack, which comes on the heels, as we are just over 1,000 days into this war, of another really significant drone attack that was on Tuesday night as well.
Well, see, that's the common mistake that the media loves to do, is they love to try to lecture people on what's happening. No, don't lecture me. Just tell us the events that are happening. Allow me to come up with my fucking own conclusions. Don't tell me what I need to feel or think. Oh, well, you shouldn't feel. No, fuck all that. I want to know what's happening. And then we can make up our decision there, So
it represents an escalation, albeit one that I think many Ukrainians were expecting.
We have a deal with the Taliban. Yeah, the United States has a deal with the Taliban, 100%. And I forget how many millions we send them per week. I forget what it is, 38 million per week, something ridiculous.
Into this second winter. Of course, this was a tactic in the first winter where energy infrastructure and other critical infrastructure was attacked. But it is escalating with excessive force, as we've seen this week. I think the other significance is, of course, in terms of its impact on civilians and its rhetoric of retaliation.
As far as the devastating effects here, when you pile up one attack on another, as you mentioned, these are happening and they are massive, major attacks here. What is the overall devastating effects for Ukraine as a whole?
Well, shit. Yeah, well, if they fuck you up and they fuck up all your actual energy, your resources, stuff like that, dude, you're screwed. You're screwed as a country. I mean, they already said that they attacked the grid and have 1 million homes without electricity right now. 1 million. And that's like some small attack shit compared to what could be happening. But still, that's humongous. I mean, it's devastating effects.
I think it's a really good question, and one that I think isn't the nuance around the impact isn't properly being discussed or properly understood at this stage. I think when you're in conversations or you're aware of these attacks on energy and critical infrastructure, I think there can be an assumption that this is, an inconvenience. You're without heat for a little bit of time. You're without light for a bit of time.
A little bit of time? Shit. I like to see this woman that is speaking right now. You go ahead and go without some electricity for a little bit. A little bit. Don't downplay that shit.
But really, this is a destabilizing, terrorizing conduct of hostilities.
Correct.
And I think that needs to be discussed in the myriad of ways in which this impacts Ukrainian
civilians. Thank you for the correction. Thank you for the correction. Okay, so Mr. says, story on X. We covered this Tuesday, I think. Mikey, it's 6 to 10 million per week. Sourced is the Afghan people on X, and it's all in cash. Holy shit. I had no idea what the actual number was. I heard it was up there, like extremely high, but still $6 to $10 million to go to a total terrorist organization that we fund. Shit's crazy.
Billions. So it's not just a lack of light and heat, but we're talking about elderly and the disabled being stuck in their flats because elevators are unable to be operating. It's the inability of healthcare services to deliver vital operations.
That's right, Carney. I appreciate you, my man. That's right. Hit that like button, y'all. Yo, it's free to do so. What are you doing? Appreciate you guys for helping out the show that way.
It's the access to communication, which, of course, I'm sure you know that everyone in Ukraine relies heavily on an air alert app, which will tell you of an incoming attack and advise you to go to the shelter. Now,
you trying to preach to a whole bunch of people in Israel right now? Because, man, they deal with the same shit, woman.
If you don't have any power to charge your phone,
and way more,
you are with,
and way more of it. And way more of it. I mean, we're talking thousands of rockets, like, what, a month that Israel deals with?
Without an ability to protect yourself. And that then takes away the minimizing of civilian harm, which, of course, is a cornerstone of international humanitarian law. That's not to mention, of course, the impact on business, industry, and education. So there really are these myriad of layers in which this is impacting civilians.
Correct, by the way, Hardwire. A lot of that shit is Chinese made in a lab. Yeah, that's not even some real shit. Yeah.
On a daily basis. And we've seen this now for, as I said, over 1,000 days.
So now we've got conflicting reports here. Straight Jacket says, no, sir, it's 41 million to 81 million per week in cash over to the Taliban. Damn.
And I did want to ask you just kind of overall, it may seem like a fairly obvious question, but why exactly has Russia kind of started to target this critical infrastructure? I mean, I say started, but they've been doing it kind of all along, and it is a fairly significant situation.
I mean, I tend to stay away from guessing the motives or intention of perpetrators like.
Damn. And there's your source right there from CIA targeter Sarah Adams.
Like Putin. But I think, I mean, the way that under Ukrainian law, the way that critical infrastructure is defined, I think is quite telling in the context of why this might be a specific targeted attack from Russia. And they talk about infrastructure as objects that are important to the economy.
Well, I really, honestly, here's what I really am worried about out of this whole thing is what is Biden going to say? What is Biden going to do and say? That's what I worry about. I mean, listen, they're going through a conflict over there. You know, it is what it is. But stop fueling the fucking fire, Biden. Please stop fueling the fucking fire. Every time that you speak, especially over there on that side of the world, you fuck it up. Damn, every time.
security and defense, and the disruption of which would harm vital national interests. So I think there you start to see this national interest.
That's unfortunate, Pablo.
Piece. And really, when you start to look at, in the abstract, the targeting of critical infrastructure in this systematic way, you start to see this simultaneous and insidious outcomes that you have from distracting political and military officials who are having to respond to these power outages, to the communication disruptions, which we've talked about, which are very significant.
Right there, what you guys just saw, that was like... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
To the communication.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 behind it. So 6 plus 8. Holy shit. Yeah, they're out there launching 15 motherfuckers right there on camera.
Disruptions.
There's a couple more. There was a whole beam more. Yeah.
Which we've talked about, which are very significant in terms of the protection of civilians. So a kind of, a swirl of misinformation and disinformation when you remove the ability of civilians
needs to be irrelevant.
Accessing communication and news. It removes so many different layers of Ukrainians' day-to-day lives, and it has this slow burn effect on morale of nights in shelters, the fear around whether to send your children to school. So I think there's a multi-layered impact, which speaks to that rationale, perhaps, of why they're being targeted.
What about when you talk about the war crimes aspect of all of this? Kind of go a little bit deeper into that whole situation. We know that arrest warrants, so to speak, have been issued by the International Criminal Court for Putin. So explain to me kind of the war crimes aspect.
Well, I mean, Global Rights Compliance have been operating in Ukraine since 2015 in relation to the first invasion in Crimea. And we
still have the same answer. Fuck the ICC. Hot take. Fuck the ICC and the ACC. Fuck the ICC. For real. Biased fucking garbage organization. Trying to delegate the fucking world into, let me ask you a question. In war, is there such thing as war crimes? In war is fucking war. There is zero fucking off limits. Nothing is on the table. You know what I mean? Anything could fucking happen. Anything. At any moment. Dude, this world is not fair like that. No, it's just not.
Have developed through the Atrocity Crimes Advisory Group mobile justice teams, and these teams are agile. They're based in Ukraine and in the regions, and what they do is supporting the Office of the Prosecutor and their police units and investigative units to investigate and document and case build around these war crimes. There is, in relation to critical infrastructure, you're absolutely right. Arrest warrants were issued earlier this year in relation to these attacks. And this second wave of attacks on the energy that we've seen this week really fall within a very similar ambit of how those crimes have been articulated by the International Criminal Court. So I think the way that we've looked at some of these crimes in the context of GRC has been through these broader pattern of attacks. So whether that...
Shit. All right, let's go ahead and move into the news cycle, what we've got going on in the actual news itself. Live right now. I mean, not live. We're about 40 minutes behind.
Back to the U.S. for our next story. We'll go back.
I do want to hear this.
Talk more about the Middle East in a second. But this right here is a live look over the White House, as we know that Biden's term is coming to an end. So there's questions about what he will do in the coming days and really just about 2 months. Lucas Tomlinson with Fox News.
How much longer is it, everybody? It's like right now it's got to be 50 days or something like that, 51 days left until he's out.
You think about it. What do you, I'm just not a criticism of the press. I mean, this, you know me too well.
Uh-oh.
Is that you turn on the television, you don't see a lot of good news.
Well, yeah. There ain't a lot of good shit that's happening right now, Biden. That's how the fucking press works. When shit is going good, it's not in the press. Just end of the story. I mean, it's very hard. I mean, if you look at these, for instance, yesterday, Live Now from Fox or whatever, they hosted a Thanksgiving, like feel good, what's happening around, what parades are happening and covering it and all that. No one tunes into that shit. No one. That's a rarity of them like covering something that is a good thing. But the truth is, the media does not win by showing off what's good in the world. They just never have. It'll never be that way, unfortunately. So, yeah, come on, Biden.
Even the stuff that is good news doesn't seem to sell very well.
The commander-in-chief, as well as the first lady with their grandson Beau in tow, continued their Thanksgiving tradition, thanking first responders on the island they have visited for 40 years.
I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for peaceful transition in the presidency.
That's
I'm
good.
Thankful for the fact that I think with the grace of God and good little neighbors, with a little luck, we're going to get some more progress in the Middle East.
Before departing for Nantucket, Biden announced a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hezbollah. It expires when he leaves office. For more than a year, a ceasefire in Gaza with Hamas has eluded the
Look at that
president,
shit.
where 4 Americans are still held
That was
hostage by
great. That's a crazy
It
explosion.
expires when he leaves office.
Just decimated this building.
For more than a year, a ceasefire in Gaza with Hamas has eluded the president, where 4 Americans are still held hostage, along with the remains of 3 others. President Biden took time to thank U.S. forces deployed around the world, including in the Middle East, where U.S. jets have carried out recent airstrikes in Syria and in Yemen. When he returns to Washington, Biden has a few items on his to-do list, including more infrastructure and environmental projects, getting more judges approved, and forgiving more student loans.
Fuck you and your federal judge nominees. How about that? How about that? Relax on that. More student loan forgiveness. Who the fuck is getting that student loan forgiveness? Nobody. It's all bullshit. Getting infrastructure. Yeah. So for your people or for others governments? I'd like, to you be a little more specific. But speeding up on environmental goals. You know what that sounds like to me?
Emotional damage.
This motherfucker.
While Biden was in Nantucket, his vice president visited a food bank in the nation's capital
Look who it
to help
is.
prepare Thanksgiving dinner. She spoke briefly to the press.
What's next for you?
We all know why you're there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Doing a little feel-good story. Kamala Harris. You trying to win, people's emotions? Yeah, that's what's happening here.
Thanksgiving dinner.
President Biden has less than 2 months remaining in office. Before he leaves, he wants to rush more weapons to Ukraine, where Ukraine's president says he's only received 10% of the aid passed by Congress this spring. Traveling with the president in Nantucket, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
And you heard a lot of talk about Hezbollah and Israel and the ceasefire.
What's up,
As
Dirty?
you take a live look right now, this is over the Lebanon-Israel border. And both sides have said the other has violated the terms. But as of now, that truce does remain in effect. In an interview, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says if Hezbollah were to violate the agreement, there would be, quote, intensive war. According to the Times of Israel, Netanyahu said that he gave the Israel Defense Forces instructions that in the case of a, quote, massive violation of the agreement, the response would extend beyond, quote, surgical operations like we're doing now. As always, so much to
of
discuss.
course.
So I do.
If they get attacked, a humongous ceasefire for real and under a ceasefire plan, yeah, absolutely. They're going to respond to that shit if they get fucked up. Yeah.
I bring in a good friend of the show here. We do have David Dowd. He is a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies with a focus on Lebanon and Hezbollah. As always, thank you so much.
And you're very correct about that. Ultimately, he doesn't want the ceasefire. Netanyahu. Yeah, you're right.
For taking the time, David, to be here with us.
Good morning. Good
always a
morning,
pleasure.
Dirty.
All right, so first off, I do have to talk to you about the ceasefire overall between Israel and Hezbollah, but also about these violations that have been reported kind of back and forth between the two. Is this ceasefire likely to stick for long? Because it didn't take long to have those violations reported.
It's an excellent question. I think the ceasefire is intended to be permanent. That's Amos Hochstein's own words. It's not the 60-day trial period, as was initially reported back in September. That became a 60-day timetable for the IDF's gradual withdrawal from South Lebanon, Hezbollah's gradual withdrawal north of the Litani, and the LAF supposedly filling the gap and maintaining that.
But we heard Netanyahu say this. Trust me, this ain't no fucking end of the war. Don't get this shit twisted, he said, basically. Don't get this shit twisted. We are still absolutely at war. This does not mean shit in the regards of the war. I think the 60-day, ceasefire is actually just to basically ice the situation until Trump gets into office, ultimately. Yeah.
That disconnection. Now, what happens with violations now? The Israelis are responding in pinpoint fashion, just as you were asking this question. In fact, the IDF reported that it fired on a suspicious target belonging to Hezbollah. Will this translate into full military action? Look, I think Prime Minister Netanyahu wanted to sell this deal, and he sold it with a lot of fiction. He said that
Israel definitely did not create these organizations. Now, you could argue that these organizations came about because of the same hatred. So that's what you're getting at.
Violations of the ceasefire would lead to Israel reopening the war. That's not how this deal was structured. In the meantime, Israel has more freedom of action because this mechanism, this monitoring mechanism that's supposed to go into place and monitor hostilities and monitor and address violations has not gone into place. Right now, the Israelis might have a little bit more leeway to address violations, but once that mechanism takes hold, that's going to take over for most of that. And in the meantime, I don't see Hezbollah launching a full-scale attack of the nature that would justify Israel going back to war. They desperately wanted this ceasefire. I think what we're going to see is maybe minor movement on the ground, minor friction with the Israelis conducting pinpoint strikes.
I do have to ask, does Israel need any sort of permission from anyone?
Yeah, Hardwire's getting beamed this morning. Totally. I hate that shit right there.
To respond and to say, this ceasefire's been breached, we're done, war continues.
Well, again, it's a ceasefire. The war is over. So now for Israel to restart the war, they would have to suffer an armed attack, right? Something on the scale of everything that Hezbollah did after October 8th of 2023. Hezbollah is not stupid. They're not going to do that. In terms of how Israel responds to Hezbollah's movements moving forward, according to the side letter, the letter of assurance, which again could be disregarded by future administrations between the United States and Israel, in response to immediate threats, meaning someone's about to fire a rocket, an explosive has been planted on the border, something imminent, then the Israelis can respond in accordance with international law, says the letter, meaning probably in pinpoint fashion.
And fuck international law.
Things that are not imminent, things that are outside of South Lebanon. So Hezbollah is building a rocket production facility somewhere in Baalbek. That would have to be addressed through the committee, this international monitoring committee that will be chaired by the United States, that will have France and the UK on it. That will then be turned over to the LAF that will be asked to act.
What's up, my man? We got Fester up in the building over there on the West Coast, my man. He's saying good morning, BV and the Breakfast Club. Hope you all have a blessed day. Hope you have a blessed day as well. Hopefully you enjoyed your Thanksgiving over there, man. Hopefully you got to hang out with the family and friends and family, all that stuff, man. It's being around loved ones. That's what matters.
If that LAF action is not deemed sufficient, then the Israelis will again probably be allowed to respond in pinpoint fashion. What the committee will deem sufficient LAF action, how the committees will operate. Will France act like a spoiler and continue to act like a cover for Lebanese inaction against Hezbollah? These are all questions that remain to be seen and will impact the freedom of action that Israel has in Lebanon.
With the start of the ceasefire, have many of those residents of northern Israel returned home? Because that was one of the things that we heard a lot from Netanyahu was about the importance of allowing that to happen. And that was kind of a term there. So have we seen a lot of them return, or are they maybe waiting for now to see what happens?
Well, they're not waiting. The government's telling them not to return just yet. And when you listen to a lot of these people, they're very displeased with this ceasefire. A lot of them are saying not only...
Yeah, there's humongous protests going on in Israel, in Tel Aviv. Yeah, it's fucked up. Yeah, dude, they're not happy with that ceasefire. Maybe not as a whole. I don't know what the actual consensus is for the people there, but just from what I'm seeing riot wise, or not even, they're not riots, they're just protests. I haven't seen anyone get like hurt or anything over there from the protests. I don't think it's gotten violent at all, but it has been a humongous topic over there. And I mean, they're literally, get in front of the media doing their, painting their hands, getting little girls to sit on the sidewalk looking like they're strapped up, or hostaged up. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. It's been hardcore.
Do they not have homes to go back to? But even if they would, they're not going to go back because they don't trust the ceasefire to prevent Hezbollah's
Man, that's a good
resurgence.
question, by the way. How'd you like that deep fried turkey? I've tried to do it that way a few times, but I always mess it up. That's so funny. My dad, researched the shit out of it for a week straight. He was like, man, I'm not fucking this up. And it was bomb as fuck. It was actually, I'll probably never eat a normal turkey again. The whole family was like, man, this is the way to do it. And I saw so many people fuck their shit up. Those viral Instagram videos and whatnot. People either they burn down their freaking house, which I have seen that kind of shit before, or just a big fire in general, or they're pulling the bird out and it's completely charcoaled black, Yeah. We weren't going to have that shit happen. We were on it.
And reemergence, even on the border. You listen to these people, they're saying before this war, we used to be able to look into the whites of the eyes of Hezbollah fighters and Hezbollah operatives across the border.
That shit is true, Steve.
We used to complain about digging and their activities, and no one listened to us. And now we're being returned to a situation where we're going to have to resume that with the backdrop of October 7th. A lot of these people have children. These are normal people, right? They don't want to live in the shadow of a terrorist organization that's rebuilding its forces on the border when you don't have a sufficient or credible deterrent within Lebanon. And, a lot of them are angry. They were saying that the IDF was getting the job done and it was stopped prematurely.
As far as a potential
that was a good
buffer
answer by him.
zone, I feel as though we've discussed this as well, but Israel not creating a buffer zone, so to speak, in southern Lebanon. Why not? And is that what you would have expected? And while you're talking, I do want to pop up this live image that we have over at the Israel-Lebanon border.
I honestly wouldn't have expected this. I would have expected that even if not a security zone inside Lebanon with ground forces deployed, that the Israelis would have.
Man, it's real too. Down here, they actually label it fragile ceasefire remains in effect for Israel and Hezbollah.
Had some kind of a buffer zone or enforced some kind of a buffer zone with
definitely fragile
firepower. This seems to have been a concession to the Lebanese that Amos Hochstein insisted on. Look, the Lebanese were never going to agree to having a depopulation of certain parts of their territory. And Amos Hochstein was desperate to get this deal at all costs. And look, it's based on this fiction that the Lebanese government will act. And I think he just wanted to get people to the table just to get ink on paper rather than have something.
Now you know how it feels to be Mike Ball sometimes, AU. Feels ultra bad, doesn't it?
On paper that will actually be durable and that would prevent not just Hezbollah's resurgence, but actually, to his words, right? He said he wants this deal to not just end this round of conflict, but end all conflict between Israel and Hezbollah and any potential for it moving forward for good. This deal doesn't do that. And it's, as you noted, it's because the buffer zone hasn't been created. It's one of the reasons that this deal will not hold in the long run.
Hezbollah officials have said that as of the last several months, they've had about 4,000 of their militants killed as a result of all of this. So I have a couple questions for you here. First off, is that a huge blow to Hezbollah? Is that a large number of their fighters? It is us.
That's doing God's work right there, making brown babies. You know what I mean?
Number. And then also, are those numbers likely accurate?
Well, the IDF has estimated 2,500 Hezbollah fighters total have been killed. 2,000 it seemed since mid-September. Hezbollah itself has not put out an official statement with its dead. They've actually stopped announcing their dead fighters since sometime in mid to late September. So these are sources that have spoken to media and said 4,000. Now, is that accurate? Could be. It very much could be. We don't know how much of a dent is that in Hezbollah's fighting force. First, that depends on how big Hezbollah's fighting force is. I've heard Hezbollah itself has claimed 100,000 fighters.
100,000? That's still nothing. I mean, the truth is I have no idea what their army is. I often ask, first of all, how many numbers they have actually got in the terrorist organization. And then, for instance, like the Lebanese government, I wonder if they even have the resources, the people to actually stage themselves and replace the IDF on the border. I don't even know if they have the people or the fighting power, the resources, any of it. I don't even know. I have no idea. Maybe you guys in the chat could answer that for me.
Other estimates have put them at 40 to 50,000. It also depends on who these fighters
What's up, Brother
are.
Lee? Good to see you this morning, kind sir. Good morning, good morning. Wakey, eggs and bakey for you. Yeah, good morning, good morning. Hopefully you're having a good one so far. And also, hopefully you enjoyed your Thanksgiving last night, my man.
4,000 top-level commanders. Are they elite fighting
What's
force?
up, Gary? Good morning,
It's
kind
hard
sir.
to
You as
determine
well?
at this point. But what we can say for certain is, unfortunately, Hezbollah is not down and out for the count, and they have enough raw material, both internally as an organization, and it seems like from the support base, a lot of these Lebanese Shiites who are returning to their villages, celebrating victory, waving Hezbollah flags. It's not everyone, obviously, but they're seeing the scenes of destruction and celebrating regardless and praising Hezbollah. This gives Hezbollah the raw material to start the long road to resurgence, especially when you don't have a credible Lebanese side to prevent.
Yeah. My boy over here hungover just like I am. Feels ultra good, man. Hey, we know how to get down and have a good dash time, you know?
That resurgence.
When we talk a little bit about Israel, they've sort of threatened, they've issued a warning to Syria not to rearm Hezbollah. So I wanted to ask and kind of get your take on it overall. What is Syria's involvement in helping Hezbollah when you talk about all of this as a whole? Because we hear so much about Iran, but what about Syria?
Well, Syria has been for a long time a conduit and nothing more for Iranian weapons coming to Hezbollah. I mean, speaking of an Assad regime as if there's something really there, or a Syrian army as if there's something really there, at this point is fiction. The people who control the ground are Iran and its militias. So Assad at this point is, he's
as the wise words of my father says, getting old ain't for pussies. Facts.
Oh shit!
Getting old ain't for pussies, man.
Governor of Damascus, his presidential palace in Damascus, rather. And
I'm doing good, my man. I'm doing good, by the way, Brother Lee. I'm doing good. We're here enjoying ourselves. Anytime I'm hanging out with the Breakfast Club, I'm doing a fantastic. I mean, I don't care if my day is shit. If I'm with you guys, dude, instantly the entire day is amazing. And I'm not even joking on that.
For weapons. I don't know how much he could do to actually prevent weapons from traversing his country to reach Hezbollah. And this, by the way, applies similarly to the Lebanese government. We're hearing talk about the LAF deploying immediately to South Lebanon.
We got Steve up in here.
Idea that will
good morning.
Just wait. And they will disarm Hezbollah. This hope, this placing something so important on mere hopes. I would say that if the LAF were going to attempt to disarm Hezbollah, they do it now when the group is at its weakest, and not wait, for future things to happen that may be months or years away, presidential elections and so on and so forth, giving Hezbollah the time to take stock of the situation, reorient itself, and ready itself for any action by either the Lebanese government or any other actors. So I don't see anyone acting against this organization. If they were to, now would be the time, and we're not seeing that.
All right, David Dowd, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and provide that expertise. Anything else you want to add about really any of this before I let you go?
Well, really, I want to hammer in on this point about Lebanese action. Again, the time would be now. Now you have these people that will tell you, oh, we'll wait for a presidential election. That's at least 2 months off if it succeeds. And then you have to wait for a cabinet decision. And again, so all this time, the months and potentially years, because Lebanon's had a presidential void, a governmental void for years. The potential years ahead of us until Lebanon gets its political act together, gets the LAF in the position where it needs to. All this time is time for Hezbollah to reposition itself, to regather its strength militarily.
You got him, Steve.
And socially, making it infinitely possible to disarm, taking us back to the situation where Lebanon just didn't want to act because of the risks that would entail.
Major facts.
All these people that are saying bet on this, I think they're betting on fiction.
Be safe out there, by the way, Fester. Appreciate you always, kind sir. Appreciate you. Hopefully you stay blessed and not stressed.
And
you know what I mean?
Let's just admit this ceasefire was premature. And unfortunately, I think it bequeaths to the next generation another Israel-Hezbollah war.
All right, David Dowd, thank you again for taking the time to be here. As always, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and I do want to bring you an update here on some breaking news that we have been following all throughout the morning out of the Middle East at 10:29 on the East Coast, 7:29 on the West Coast. This is some of the video a bit earlier on today that Gine Francine brought you as all of this was unfolding. Now, the Hamas terror group claiming responsibility for an attack on an Israeli bus earlier today that wounded at least 8 people total. That number could continue to rise, though. The Palestinian Health Ministry identifying the Hamas terrorist involved as a 46-year-old local man. However,
wow.
A name, a little bit more information has not been released. But
what is he doing shooting up a fucking bus? Like, why you raining a bus, motherfucker?
Again, saying that he is part of Hamas. Now, he opened fire on the bus near the Jewish settlement of Ariel in the West Bank earlier today. And Israeli officials say 4 people suffered gunshot wounds. 3 of them were listed in critical condition. 4 others apparently injured by flying glass as the bullets struck the bus. Now, we are told by Israeli officials that they did kill this man, this 46-year-old quote-unquote local man, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry, that did carry out this attack. It's not clear if it was a lone wolf attack kind of situation or if there were other shooters involved. However, Hamas is claiming responsibility as of right now.
As of right now.
We get more details.
You just heard it right now, here right now on this channel. Hamas took responsibility for that bus situation this morning. Hey, I like when they do that because you can hold these motherfuckers accountable later. You know what I mean? Hey, take that claim. You know, fucking idiot. What are you doing shooting up a fucking bus like that in Gaza? Like, why? Why do that? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Coming into our newsroom here from the Associated Press and Reuters.
You think it's a radical person? You know what I mean? Like, was he even actually a part of Hamas? He probably was. But just saying, you know, I'd like to have a little bit more info on that. But why is Hamas automatically taking claim for it?
We'll make sure to bring that to you right here on Live Now from Fox, but you can see that.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too shabby, Brother Lee. That's right. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already. #1 metric of all of YouTube, helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so.
Heavy law enforcement presence there in the West Bank as this investigation was underway. Again, 8 people in all have been injured, 4 of them suffering gunshot wounds, and 4 others injured by flying glass. We'll keep you updated as we get more details. For now, we do have to head to a quick 2-minute commercial break at 10:31 on the East Coast and 7:30.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough of this for me. Shit. As Steve says, man, they're just never going to get along. That's facts. It's facts. It's a harsh reality. Harsh reality. You know, it super sucks. It super sucks. They wouldn't have been able to get to Gaza to West Bank without the IDF intercepting them or Mossad finding out. I think it was Israeli done, Hamas tagged. You think? What makes you think that, honestly? I mean, who would have intervened? I mean, the thing is they were in Gaza when it happened. So it would make sense that the IDF wouldn't be like right there at that moment. So I don't know. Hey, so listen up, everybody. I can't thank you all enough for hanging out with me this morning and chilling out, vibing out, maxing on cool, shooting some b-ball outside of school. You know what I mean? I said it.
Oh, shit.
Listen, hang around for the raid. We're going to be raiding our friend Jess White over there. She's live right now having probably a crazy ass conversation. And of course, we'll go ahead and join in and see what they're doing over there. Hang around. You don't have to do anything. You'll be automatically redirected, and let Jess know that, you know, hey, Mike Ball raid. You know, we're coming in hot. I'll be over there in the chat with you guys. Again, thank you all for being here this morning and hanging out with me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving, and, you know, appreciate you guys always. Stay blessed out there. Much love, honor, respect to everybody. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning for members only, man. So 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, every single Saturday, we got members only. So stick around. We got some, we're always going to go crazy over there. We get to be a little bit more wild. Yeah. All right, guys. Much love. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Appreciate it.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report you